The first decision of the new government shows commitment of government to farmer welfare. It's a big Kisan push from the first decision of the government. The first file, which has been signed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, pertains to Prime Minister Kisan Nidhi Yojana. The government, in a statement, has said ours is a government fully committed to Kisan Kalyan. It is therefore befitting that the first file signed on taking charge is related to farmer welfare. We want to keep working even more for the farmers and the agricultural sector in the times to come, says the Prime Minister. It's a big message that is being said by the current government here. The new government, this is Modi 3.0, where essentially the first file that has been signed has got to do with farmer welfare. Paulmi Saha breaking that story for us. Paulmi, it's a big message here from the government by making this announcement that the first file that we are clearing has got to do with the welfare of the Kisan.
That's right. In fact, that is the decision which has been taken by Prime Minister Narendra Modi as he reached office today in the South Block. The Prime Minister, in fact, has signed his first file, which basically authorizes the release of the 17th installment of PM Kisan Nidhi scheme, which is expected to benefit close to about 9.3 crore farmers and distribute around 20,000 crore rupees. So that is the outlay for this program, the 17th installment of the ongoing central scheme of PM Kisan Nidhi. In fact, after signing that file, the Prime Minister has said, and I'm quoting him over here, ours is a government fully committed to Kisan Kalyan. It is therefore fitting that the first file signed on taking charge is related to farmer welfare. We want to keep working even more for the farmers and the agriculture sector in the times to come. So that is the first file that the Prime Minister has in fact signed, the first decision, if you may, of the new government that has been taken under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi after he assumed office today on South Block early this morning, Sneha.
All right, Paulmi getting us those details. It's a big message from the government. As far as the Kisan push is concerned, that's the first file that has been signed by the Prime Minister after being sworn in as the Prime Minister for the third time. Prime Minister Modi's first signature is on the release of 17th installment of Prime Minister Kisan Nidhi. In a statement, it is being said that ours is a government fully committed to Kisan Kalyan. It is therefore fitting that the first file signed on taking charge is related to the welfare of the farmer. We want to keep working even more for the farmers, says the government, and the agriculture sector in the times to come. Paulmi continues to be with us. Paulmi was staying with these pictures. The Prime Minister already in office, back in action. The first cabinet meeting today as well.
The Prime Minister, of course, received a warm welcome when he arrived at South Block in his office today by all the officials and the bureaucrats that, of course, form the Prime Minister's office. He, of course, acknowledged their welcome as well. The Prime Minister then, of course, goes on to sign that very important file which pertains to releasing the 17th installment of the PM Kisan Nidhi. Like I said, it is expected to benefit about 9.3 crore farmers, and the outlay for the program is about 20,000 crores. The government says that this is symbolic of the commitment that the government has towards farmer welfare. So that is a big decision which has been taken by Prime Minister Modi on his first day back at work as Prime Minister for the third consecutive time. Like you mentioned, there's a very crucial cabinet meeting which is expected at about 5 p.m. this evening. Of course, before that, we will find out the much-awaited list of the portfolio allocation as well, because the said cabinet ministers and the cabinet rank ministers will also be present in that meeting, and we'll have a better sense, of course, of the portfolios which have been allocated to them. So then, of course, the messaging in terms of their various ministries, departments, etc., will be very clear. The Prime Minister will be then laying out his vision, as he did before his incoming Union Council of Ministers yesterday ahead of the swearing in, as to what his vision was for the new government and its agenda, the 100-day agenda, which he'd in fact started working upon even before the elections were over, and something which he wants to carry forward in terms of his vision for 2040, 700 years of India's independence, that mark and Viksit Bharat, as he's been saying, to take and make the country a developed nation, take it from a $5 trillion economy to a, make it a $5 trillion economy, from the 5th largest to the 3rd largest economy. So the Prime Minister will be laying out his vision before the cabinet colleagues, those of course who have been sworn into cabinet rank yesterday, and it's going to be very crucial to find out who will hold which portfolio in this new government.
That's right. That's also an important decision, and that is also expected today. Paulmi, the way forward would be a joint session of the Parliament as well. What is expected? The Prime Minister, or the Cabinet rather, asked for a Parliament session. Consequently, the appointment of the Speaker, the oath taking of the ministers in that sense also, and also the joint session. That is also expected sometime, anytime soon. What more details can you share with us on that front?
Well, Sneha, that decision, of course, will be taken today, where they will be, of course, recommending to the President to call for a session of Parliament. It is expected to possibly take place in the 3rd week of June, given, the things that we're learning from our sources within, of course, the government, in terms of when they could call that session. It's possibly likely to start after Bakri Eid, which is the 17th of June, so possibly a session around those dates. The first 2 days, if I'm to go by, the last time when the first session of the 17th Lok Sabha took place, the first 2 days were dedicated to the oath-taking of all the MP-elects. So 543 will take at least 2 days before, everyone's been sworn in. And then, of course, on the 3rd day would be the election of the Speaker, which, of course, the oath-taking would be officiated by a pro tem Speaker. And then, of course, comes the election of the Speaker. This time around, given that the numbers are, high of the opposition, expect fireworks as well when that election is to happen. And then, of course, what we will see is a joint address of the President to both houses of Parliament as well, for which, if we are to believe in terms of what we're learning from our sources within Rashtrapati Bhavan, it could happen anywhere around the 21st of June. We have to see how long this session is, because, the first session of the 17th Lok Sabha, the previous Lok Sabha, went on from the 17th of June to the 6th of August. So it was more than a month-long Parliament session.
All right, Paulmi, I'm going to thank you for the moment for getting us those details. Paulmi Saha telling us about what the first file that was signed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi was. Essentially, this has got to do with the scheme involving farmers. Paulmi, thanking you for the moment.